Hello, this is Greg Brown. I'm the Superintendent of Schools for USD 435 here in Abilene. I'm trying a little different format as I report to the staff about our last school board meeting. If at any time you have questions about any part of what's going on either in the school board meeting or otherwise, please do not hesitate to give me a call or shoot me an email. As usual, we begin our board meetings with consent agenda, and these are items that the board has been made aware of previously, and they can take some pretty quick action as a group. We do try to just touch base briefly to make sure that everyone understands what's in the consent agenda. I like sharing the personnel updates with you all. It's nice to know who is doing what and when. We did spend just a minute talking about Mark Willie as he's transferring from the 8th grade football position to assist our high school football program. Other items included in the consent agenda, we did have a couple minutes from meetings, our regular meeting in November, and then we did have a special meeting to talk about HVAC considerations on December 1st. Financial reports from the district perspective, as well as activity reports from the high school and the middle school were included in that consent agenda. And then we have individual development plans for a few of our certified staff were submitted. We did have 2 site council reports, one from McKinley and one from the middle school, and then a few graduation credit adjustments for some of our upperclassmen. Also included in the consent agenda were guidelines for handling controversial discussions in class. We currently are living in a culture where it seems like everything has a level of controversy to it, and we felt that it was beneficial for the teachers to have some practical guidelines for handling some discussions as they may occur in class. I want to thank Dr. Smith for his help on this, as well as Janelle Schmidt and Megan Berry. Both teach classes where lots of times discussions can get started, and we want them to. So we have developed some working guidelines for teachers to consider, and I am including them as a separate attachment to the same email from which you're receiving this PowerPoint. We were excited to have several teachers join us during our board meeting Monday night. These teachers are members of the building leadership teams in our different buildings, and they describe the efforts they are making to help our district improve our post-secondary success for students. The professional development series that we have been participating in since August is called Leading for Impact, and it's being led by a nationally known author, Jay Westover. The administrative team has read the book Districts on the Move. The conversations that we're having and the decisions that we're making all fit very well with our district's mission statement and strategic plan. And it's exciting to see us work together as a district to make some really great things happen for our students. As per board policy, any gift given to the school district of $500 or more needs to be approved by the school board, and we did have some of those gifts this last Monday. The Community Foundation of Dickinson County received a donation from an anonymous donor to assist the boys basketball program with $1,500 to be used toward purchasing meals at away games. We had some instruments that were donated to our high school band program. It was very nice to receive a professional level trombone from Rich Lockness, and also a couple of instruments from Cynthia Dieters that totaled a value of $2,500. The Knights of Columbus organization donated over $925 to our school district as well, to be used towards special education efforts. And that's from their Tootsie Roll sales. And we want to thank everyone that was generous enough to provide these gifts to our school district. I believe all of you are aware that throughout the first semester we were able to use a modified quarantine for students and staff members who were deemed to be close contacts in a school setting. The modified quarantine meant that the person could come, be tested with brandy first thing in the morning. If the test was negative, then they could go ahead and wear a mask and go about their school day as normal. The Dickinson County Health Department recently revised their guidelines for using modified quarantines. We looked at those guidelines through the lens of three specific settings. Obviously, the first one is continuing to monitor close contacts at school and communicating with families as needed, just pretty much the same way that we have throughout the first semester. A second setting is a close contact from what we would call social settings outside of the school. I think I used the example during the board meeting. If a 16-year-old kiddo is working at a hamburger place and one of their work colleagues tests positive for COVID, then that young person would be identified as a close contact. Previously, we were not allowed to go ahead and extend that modified quarantine setting to that 16-year-old. Now we are able to do that. We are going to apply the new recommendations from the county for close contacts in the home in this manner here. Rather than sitting out additional days after the family's last known case of COVID has reached the end of their isolation period, we'll go ahead and have the student or staff member report to school in a modified quarantine setting to get them back into the classroom or back to work. The high school counseling staff is preparing their catalog to enroll students for next fall's classes. We had two requests to increase fees for welding class. One of those is from $2.50 to $15. The students then would own their safety glasses and welding gloves. We also made the recommendation to increase course fees for Welding 2 so that the students who finish that course would be fully certified through OSHA. Twice a year, the Kansas Association of School Boards sends out policy revisions. One of those times is in December. The other one is in June. The 7 policies that we looked at Monday night are all revisions, and there's a very short summary of what each of those revisions is all about provided on this slide and the next. As you know, the school board receives monthly reports from across the school district. We spent just a extra second sharing one of the items that was in my specific report. Our video board advertising is going really very well, especially with this being the very first year to do something like this. We have exceeded the $75,000 that we had hoped that we would get to with these sponsorships for these scoreboards, and we have an agreement with the company that's managing that to provide the school system with a check in the sharing of that proceeds a little bit. Obviously, it's not 50-50. We're not doing most of the work for that at this point, but we're hoping that over time we will be able to provide our students with some authentic educational opportunities working with this advertising company. January is School Board Recognition Month, and we are going to try to take a few minutes to recognize our school board members between the girls and boys varsity ball games on Tuesday, January 25th. We took just a few minutes to recognize Kyle Becker and his service to the school board for the last 4 years. We greatly appreciate all that he's done for us, and we wish him the best. The school board meeting ended with an executive session for personnel, after which the board extended my contract and Dana's contract. I hope all of you have made plans to have some special family time or time with your friends or both during the next couple weeks. I want to wish all of you Merry Christmas, and I want to thank you for the privilege you've given me to work as your superintendent. What a great crew to be a team member with, and thank you so much for everything that you do for our students and for our families.